So it's taken me a while to gather my thoughts on this book because when I finished it, I kind of just sat there stunned for about 3 hours, just at the sheer awesomeness of it. Eleanor and Park was published this year in February, and my edition has 325 pages, which is a nice round number, and it is set in the 1980s, specifically 1986 in the USA, in the state of Omaha, Nebraska. It follows two protagonists, Eleanor and Park, in a dual narrative on their journey to love and through difficulties. It is a YA contemporary romance, which is one of my favourite genres ever. There are many, many themes dealt with in this book, and that is one of the things that I loved about it because it dealt with so many different things. Rainbow Rowell is incredibly articulate on subject matters ranging from the roller coaster ride that is teenage adolescence years to family insecurities and self-insecurities and self-worth. She also explores the themes of defiance, fitting in, and social status. So she's managed to pack quite a lot into one book, and she has done it extremely well. It's very articulate. That is the first thing I'm going to say about this book. It attempts to articulate things that maybe don't have the conviction to be articulated in our own minds. They're things that we might find hard to articulate, like the feeling that you get when you're falling in love and the anger that comes with being so frustrated with a family member or a friend that's in an abusive relationship. So, moving to the narrative. It is split into a dual narrative, and each chapter is clearly headed with Eleanor or Park, so you're seeing things from their perspectives. What I particularly liked about this was that you had very short sort of chapters or sections of the narrative, if you like, that would go from Eleanor to Park and Park to Eleanor, and you would see how they were perceiving the moment in time that was going on in the book. For example, there is a use of short chapters during the time in which they're falling in love. So you'd have one thing that was noticed by Park about Eleanor, just something small, the little things, and then something that Eleanor noticed about Park. Seeing the mindset of the two characters working together in that narrative was really, really lovely, and it added to the love. Like, it was the most adorable thing to see what both of them were thinking about each other. That leads nicely on to the characterisation. Because of the dual narrative of this book and the way that it's written, you got a really full representation of the main characters and indeed all of the other characters in the book. I feel like the characterisation was done very well and very subtly without spending an entire page explaining the backstory of one character. It was threaded throughout, and you learnt things about the characters as Eleanor and Park were learning things about each other, which is really nice because you kind of get to fall in love with them. That may sound extremely strange, but you know, reading the book, I really did feel like I was falling in love. I think the quote from John Green that he said something along the lines of, reading Eleanor and Park not only reminded me of being young and in love, but also being young and in love with a book. So I think that really came through. Every human emotion possible is addressed in this book. And it was amazing how you were made to feel all of these emotions and go through it with the characters. That was one of the aspects of the book that I really, really particularly enjoyed. There was a particular extended metaphor that I really, really liked for the school bus being hell on wheels, and the bus number is 666, which is also symbolism for the devil's number, etc, etc. But I thought that was a very real representation of what a school bus is like, with all of the noise going on around and everybody just going completely crazy. That was a very real and very sort of identifiable moment. I think everybody who has been in compulsory education has been on a school bus at some point, and I think that was a very cleverly written section of the book because the bus played so much of a part in Eleanor and Park's meeting, and I feel like it was described adequately for the purpose that it stood for in the book. In this book, there are a lot of geekery references. There were several to Star Wars and Star Trek for that matter. I loved that personally because I'm into that kind of thing. For people who aren't, it doesn't take away from the book if you don't know it, but reading it with the little insides was just ever so slightly more humorous, there was a bit more kick to it. I found this book really funny in places, and the dry, snarky, sort of really sassy humour in this book attracted me to the characters, especially Eleanor, because she is just this extrovert personality in an introvert package, really. I don't know whether that makes any sense at all, but overall I would give this book 5 stars out of 5. If I could, I would give it even more because that is how much I love this book. I just thought it was such a well-articulated, identifiably written piece of literature. And I'm gonna say piece of literature because this book deserves to go down in history. Let me know down in the comments if you read it or if there's another book that you think I might like. I'd love to start a discussion up. So thank you for watching and well done for getting to the end of this video because it's probably quite long. Have a wonderful week. I will see you all soon.